Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I feel like I haven't done any tutorial videos for quite a while now, but I am back, and although this video is technically not a full face makeup tutorial per se, but it is still a tutorial. I'm sorry if I scare you off because I look crazy right now, but that's because I've done my eye makeup but not my face makeup. So I'm gonna show you guys how I usually do my base makeup, all the tools that I use, and also the steps that I take to get a really good base, because a really good base makeup is what makes the makeup last long and actually make your complexion looks good underneath all of that makeup. So yeah, if you're interested to know how I usually do my base, then please keep on watching. Make sure you moisturize your face really well before you start any makeup. Your face is clean and fresh. I think that's a given, everyone knows that. So first, I always spray my face first with any kind of prepping spray. My current favorite spray right now is this one from Too Faced, the Hangover 3-in-1, and it smells like coconut, which is delicious. Do it. Alright, I usually don't do a lot of sprays because I feel like my face is gonna get really wet if I do that. But I know a lot of other people like to really go to town with spraying their face. It's all up to you, to your preference, but I think it's really good for you to have a prepping spray prior to putting on your foundation so that your makeup will stay on a little bit longer. Alright, so next, after the spray, if you have an oily skin, you can use this POREfessional Matte Rescue. This is a mattifying gel. It is totally optional. I don't use this all the time, but I do have dry combination skin, which means this area of my face is dry, but then my T-zone gets really oily. So I like to use this on my T-zone area. Don't put too much. I feel like a little really goes a long way. Alright, next, one of my favorite and most important part of doing my base makeup is putting on primer. You can put any kind of primer that you want, but my favorite is the type that is smoothing kind of primer. What a smoothing primer does is that it gives you a really smooth base for you to put your foundation on, and then, you know, when you put on your foundation, it sits on your skin better than if you don't put a smoothing primer. At least I think so. One of my favorites is this one, the POREfessional from Benefit, and I'm sure it's also a lot of other people's favorites as well, and it is for a good reason too. This has a really smoothing texture without being too oily or wet, if you know what I mean. You can put it around places where you have a little bit more pores, any part of your skin that you feel like you have a little bit of texture. You put this on there and it will basically smoothen it out. It also helps to smoothen out fine lines. So I like to also use it underneath my eyes where I have a little bit of fine lines, and also at my smile lines. After I'm done with the primer, I continue on with putting on concealer at places where I think needs a little bit of concealing. I sometimes do color correct prior to concealer, but most of the time I actually skip it. So it depends on how serious your blemish is. If your blemishes, let's say your acne or something is really red, you might want to color correct it with green corrector first before putting on your concealer. But I think mine is not too bad, so I'm just gonna skip the color correcting and go straight on to conceal. Straight on to the most important part of the base, which is the foundation. Today I'll be using the Hello Flawless Oxygen Wow Foundation by Benefit. They don't call this foundation, they call this makeup, but it's pretty much foundation, but it has a very natural coverage. and this is how I always put on my foundation. Okay, I pump some of these on my hand, and then I will dot it all over my face, and then I blend it all out with my beauty blender. My favorite way to even out my foundation throughout my face is always with a beauty blender. I feel like it really avoids the cakiness that I get if I were just to use my hands, and also if I use a brush, it kind of gets a little bit streaky. So beauty blender is my best friend whenever I put on foundation. So sometimes there are places on your face where you have crevices and, you know, nooks and crannies that you really can't reach. That's when you use the pointy side of the beauty blender. It's also useful for the side of the nose, the smaller areas basically. Depending on the finish that your foundation has, you might want to set your foundation before proceeding to, you know, contour, blusher, and all of that. But if your foundation is already matte, and in this case it's pretty natural, you can skip it altogether. As for concealer, I think we have no choice. We really have to set it. So I'm gonna set it with the POREfessional Agent Zero Shine. You know what, in fact, I'm just gonna, you know, put this all over my face. This powder will help your skin to stay matte. Alright, and that's pretty much how I do my base. I'm gonna complete my makeup, lipstick, contour, blusher, and all those jazz, and I'll be right back. Hi guys, I am back, and as you can see, I have my whole face already, and that's pretty much it. That's how I always do my base makeup, and I know to some of you guys that really seems like a lot of steps for you to do in doing just the base. But if you really want your makeup to stay put and look good for a really long time, you have to, you know, use a lot of products and put a little bit more effort. You can skip some of those steps if you want, depending on how your skin condition is, your skin type, and all. So at the end of the day, it's all up to you. Makeup is never one thing or the other. Have fun. Find something what works best for you. I hope this has been helpful for you guys, and I love you guys so much. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, you can click on the subscribe button below. As always, I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys on my next video. Inshallah. Bye-bye. And I know to some of you guys that is really... Excuse me. Happy New Year to everyone, because this is the first video of 2016 that I filmed, although this probably will be up in later, a little bit later than New Year. But as for concealer, you really have to set it because itu dong nih.